Doctor Hanif Quazi is considered one of the most outstanding scientists in New Zealand. He arrived in New Zealand in 1967 on a Commonwealth Research Scholarship and joined Lincoln University. One morning, he received a call from Christchurch Hospital that someone from the Muslim community had died who requested a Muslim burial.
I rang a friend of mine, his name is Mansoor Khwaja, a young man, and another brother from India, Suleiman. The three of us, we went to a funeral home in Christchurch in St. Asaph Street. The first time in my life I touched a dead body. It was cold, void, and I had a feeling of sadness and a bit of a fright. I led the Namazi Janaza, the prayer for the funeral in the small church in that funeral home. To my surprise, I saw about 25 plus young men standing behind me. They were all students from Canterbury University. The grave was dug from east to the west, and we Muslim, we bury our dead body in a grave from south to the north. It is important for us that the face of the dead body faces Mecca. So we had to redo it. Those students decided the next day that we should organize ourselves. We formed the Muslim Association Canterbury, first meeting for the formation of the Federation of Islamic Association was held in Christchurch, and FIANS was then registered in 1979. In 1982, we purchased a property on the rims of Hagley Park on Dean's Avenue, and we were able to raise about $700,000 to build the Masjid Al-Noor.
And that's how Masjid Al-Noor came into being in 1985.
Interesting thing is that on the opening day in November 1985, about 200 scientist colleagues of mine from the DSIR, they came to the opening and they planted a tree signifying the peace and blessings of the place. And that sapling is now a huge tree right in front gate of the Masjid Al-Noor. So, and then we had visitors from Canterbury University Staff Club and their ladies. They visited the masjid, and many school students, they used to visit the masjid. And it was a very happy sort of beginning of the mosque in Christchurch.
34 years later, this was the mosque that became a primary target of a terrorist.
Sirens shatter the peace of Christchurch. Emergency vehicles and armed police responding to a terrorist attack on two of the city's mosques.
Mr. Gordon is the one who handed me in the keys. It was in August 1985 when I was at that time president of the Muslim Association Canterbury, that he handed in the keys to me. And of course, it was not only the Muslim people were excited, but the wider New Zealand society was as much excited, because the Christchurch Press on that day published an article saying, it's a front page main article saying that city mosque will promote understanding of Islam. And that was the ambition that the Muslim had. The chairman of the Borough Council, he did ask me to go around and seek the consent of the neighbors. And one lady right at the back of the masjid, when I went and I talked to her, she said, I am looking forward to the day when the dome and minaret of the masjid will enhance the horizons of my house. That was the expectation that the Riccarton people had of the Masjid Al-Noor.
Having spent 54 years in New Zealand laying the foundation of Faience and Masjid Al-Noor, and having done so much for the community, Hanif Quazi has one simple message.
Bottom line for the Muslim of New Zealand is the peace and security and prosperity of New Zealand.